Hey everybody, this is Tito Bort with Alti Sales. We are back with our cold calling series. So we're going to do cold calling training today. Going to be a lot of fun. I have Tom Glorio with me today. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Tito?
Good, doing awesome. We're
Awesome.
going to dive right in. So what I want to do today for the audience is Tom said he was interested in learning how to cold call and how to improve that skill. So I don't know much about his company. I don't know what they do. I'm gonna play the role of a prospect. I'm gonna let Tom cold call me, and I'm gonna act as regular prospect. After that, we're gonna turn it around. I'm gonna try to learn a little bit more about his company, and then he's gonna play the role of the prospect, and I am gonna cold call him. We're gonna see how that plays out, and at the end, we're gonna have a lot of whatever ideas, insights, takeaways that you guys can take with you and think about how are you cold calling today, and how can this training make you better. So cool.
Awesome.
Tom, there's a couple of things I need to understand before you cold call me, and the questions are, who am I, right? What type of company do I represent? What type of role do I represent? I don't want to know anything about your product. Just who am I?
Yeah, totally. Cool. Yeah. So our ICP is VPs of culture, VP of people at a kind of a growing tech company.
Okay. I'm at a growing tech company. I'm VP of culture and people. So my responsibilities include things like just making sure people are happy at work. Am I in the recruitment area, or do we have a VP of talent perhaps, or is that me too?
Yeah. So depending on the size of the organization, typically the people I speak with kind of manage all of human resources. So you would be handling, recruitment, employee engagement, handling, onboarding employees, enrolling in benefits, doing performance reviews, kind of the whole shebang.
Okay, so I'm head of HR, fast growing tech company. Okay. I think I understand that persona well enough to play the role, maybe not to perfection, but good enough to get a cold call and see how they think. And we've sold at Alti Sales to recruitment a couple of times, so
Cool.
I think it should be good. The other thing I'm going to do is I know your prospects don't necessarily turn on their cameras when you call them. You probably don't FaceTime them.
Right. Yeah.
So I am either gonna I'm gonna get away from the camera so you can't see me while we're on the cold call, and then we can dive right in. So I'm gonna pretend
Perfect.
phone's ringing. You got direct dials. I should grab a sponsor.
Yep.
I should be like, you got direct dials through Lead IQ. Like
Right.
zoom. So zoom in for Lead IQ. If you're listening to
Yeah.
this podcast, you should sponsor the SDR cold calling training. Anyway, in the
Totally.
meantime, I'm gonna maybe move my computer a little bit, make my way out of there.
Cool.
Um, okay, what company should I be? I want to represent a specific company, or
Let's
am I Alti
see.
Sales and I'm a 50-person company? Yeah, let's just keep it. I'm ABC
Yeah.
company. I'm
Awesome.
ABC company. We have
Works for
50
me.
employees. 50 is that a good size?
Yeah. Yep. 50 is good.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So, um,
Awesome.
you say ring ring. I'm gonna pick up.
Perfect. Ring ring.
Hello, this is Tito.
Hey, Tito, this is Tom calling from Namely. Did I catch you with a couple seconds?
What are you calling about?
Yeah, I'm actually just calling to follow up with you. I wanted to chat with you briefly about your human resources initiatives and plans for growth over the next year or so.
Well, I'm not interested.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just actually curious. Do you guys have kind of HR software for HRIS, payroll, benefits in place right now?
Yes, we have software in place.
Perfect, great. If I may ask, what systems are you guys using?
We were on Zenefits. Now we're using Gusto.
Got it. Totally awesome. So, how long have you guys been on them?
It's not a good time to chat. I really gotta go. We're
Oh,
we're
really?
not interested. I think we're all set. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Would there be a better time for me to follow up when you guys typically evaluate systems like this?
No, no, I'm all good. Thanks.
Okay, cool, awesome. Then I'll just follow up with you with an email. just to kind of outline namely some more, and then we can follow up later.
Click.
Cool.
Okay. How brutal was
Yeah.
that? Was that very similar to what you hear on the phone?
Yeah, I get that pretty consistently. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm used to it.
Okay. So what is your thinking or flow through that call? You said that's very typical. Where, yeah, like, what was going through your head throughout the call? Like, how do you decide what to say? Where do you think things didn't go as well as planned?
Totally. Yeah. So I guess with a cold call, my general I guess game plan is to try to figure out, what kind of information I can from the prospect, figure out what kind of systems they're using, see when they typically evaluate systems like these. Implementing an HRIS payroll benefits platform is typically something that people have kind of in-depth evaluations for. So if that is something that they typically have on the HR calendar, I like to find that out and figure out when they evaluate those systems. And then from there, kind of nurture the lead and then follow up at the appropriate time.
Okay,
Does that
cool.
make sense?
Yeah, and it seemed to me like you were quite persistent, right? And that's something we said for the audience, by the way. We said this is a very important account you're trying to get. Like, this is not just like any random company I'm calling. This is like a primary target account for you. You're quite persistent. Do you feel like some people get annoyed and they might like block you or like think badly
No,
about you, or they're
not typically.
You're
From
also
my
calling
experience,
HR, right? And HR
yeah,
people are very
yeah,
persistent themselves. They're like, I want to recruit you. I want to recruit you. I want to recruit you. I'm like,
yeah. And
girl,
from my experience,
right?
yeah, no, exactly. And they're very people. And so, typically one call really isn't going to change the way people feel about you as long as you're, persistent in being respectful of them. So I may follow this up with, some sort of email that provides value, whether it's content that we're providing or, the webinar that we kind of host that kind of walks through our platform or, co-marketing efforts. So typically like on cold calls, I'm just trying to figure out more kind of information on the prospect so I can come in and get the prospect when they're evaluating.
Now, when you're calling
How
the
do
head
you feel about that?
when you're calling the head of HR, why are you asking them what systems do they use? Do you ever have a different strategy? Like, can you figure out another way?
So it depends on what information we have available. So finding out recruitment systems like ATS or Greenhouse, Jazz is pretty apparent on their website, but finding out what they're using for payroll or how they're managing their employee data is typically information we find out either over email or direct conversation.
Right. But why? Here's my thinking, right? If I were you, I wouldn't call the head of HR and be like, "Hey, are you using Zenefits or Gusto?" I'd be like, I would call the sales line, and the sales guy picks up and it's like, "Hey, this is John." It's like, "Hey, John, this is Tom. What's up?" He's like, "Oh, what's up?" He's like, "Dude, I need a huge favor." He's like, "Yeah, how can I help you?" Right? He's like weirded out. He's like, I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales guy just like you. I'm trying to sell your company some HR software. I got to figure out what payroll system you're using. Do you know if you're using something like Gusto or Zenefits? And they're like, oh, yeah, we use Gusto. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, man. I'm going to have to call HR. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, no. That's good.
Wouldn't that be cool? Right?
Yeah. I've done that a few times. But yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Okay, so now you know we use Gusto. You put it you put it on your notes.
Yeah.
Right. 2 weeks go by. I forgot that you called 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Cool.
How about you call me again?
Awesome. Let's do it.
Cool. Let's do it. Ring ring.
Ring. Hey. Yeah.
Go. No, you go. Ring ring.
Hey, Tito. This is Tom again, calling from Namely. Did I catch you with a couple seconds?
I'm running to a meeting. I have 1 minute.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll keep this super brief then. We spoke a few weeks ago regarding kind of your HR initiatives for 2018. You mentioned that you guys were using Gusto and that you're around 50 employees, correct?
Yeah. Did we speak?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm actually just curious. Based off of our conversation, it didn't seem like right now is a good time for your evaluation. But I was curious, do you guys, have plans to grow over the next year or so?
Yeah, definitely. We raised the Series A. We've been growing. Company's going well, but yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah, totally. No, the only reason I ask is that typically we see systems like Gusto really great for smaller size companies, but we would like HR professionals need a system that can scale with them as they continue to grow. And so I was just curious, would you be free maybe for 15 to 20 minutes to kind of dive a little bit deeper into your HR platforms, what your plans are for that growth, sometime later this week?
no, I think we're good, man. Gusto works really well, so I'm super happy.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. So when do you typically kind of look into systems like this? When would be a good time for me to follow up?
I have no idea. I don't think we're running into any problems, so there's not in the foreseeable future. Like I think 2024 would be a great year to call us.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, no worries. So, perfect. Well, I'll make sure to kind of send you some more information on Namely. We have seen a lot of companies come from Gusto onto Namely just because Gusto is a kind of a system for smaller companies and won't be able to scale with you as you continue to grow. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to kind of reconnect with you down the line.
Okay, I got to run to my meeting. Thanks for the call. Have a good one.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Tito.
Bye.
All
Okay,
right, bye.
cool. So let me dive a little bit deeper into some of the things that I think I can coach you on today that
Yeah,
will be beneficial.
please do.
Um,
Awesome.
you're doing actually a really good job at the beginning of the call with asking for do you have 2 seconds or do you have a quick moment? I can speak with you briefly, right? And then I said yes. I said sure. I'm running to a meeting. I have a minute. Um, your reaction. I was trying to take notes. There's probably a couple of things that I could have mentioned, but your reaction was like, oh, perfect. Um, a better reaction to have is like, thanks. I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's a small thing, but it matters because when you're like perfect, it seems a little bit like, fuck yeah, I got you, rather than like, hey, I appreciate it, right? So
Okay, okay.
it's how you put yourself in a level of authority, and when you're
Okay.
like perfect, it's like you're calling up from a level of lower power, and
Okay.
you got them engaged, and now you're excited, but it doesn't feel great for the prospect. So that's one thing.
Okay.
The
Cool.
other
Awesome.
question you asked was like I said, you said we're calling we're using Gusto, whatever. You said even I said, did we talk? You're like, yes. What happened after that? You said you asked a yes or no question. You said maybe it's not a good time. Damn, I don't. Uh, you asked a yes or no question. Where I was like, okay, and then there was like an awkward silence because I didn't
Okay.
know if I was supposed to speak or not, or if you were gonna say something else, or it was weird.
Okay. All right.
So let me maybe and then of course like you're pushy at the end, which for HR is good, but for the people listening, like be very careful if you're calling engineers or some other people,
Totally.
they might be annoyed more quickly.
Yeah.
The HR industry is just very familiar with like insisting a lot. We've all experienced people who like ping us every 2 weeks about recruiting us. It's happened to all of us. So
Right. Totally.
um, anyway, let's try that again. Um, what I want to do is I want to understand a little bit more about Namely now that I want to be cold calling you and you're going to be the prospect. So you
Okay.
compete with
Cool.
Gusto and Zenefits. What is the reason why a company would use Namely over Zenefits or Gusto or something else?
Yeah, totally. So, Namely is really geared for companies in the mid market. So, we are a system that is meant to streamline your kind of HR processes. Typically, we see companies using systems like Gusto or Zenefits in combination, and kind of piecing together a bunch of different systems. And then as they continue to scale, they need to streamline those into a single system to reduce manual entry, to
Okay.
make processes go by, more smoothly, whether it's through syncing data from payroll to benefits, or when you're onboarding an employee, being able to handle all of that data in one single space as like a central source of data, rather than having those on multiple different systems. So we're
Right. So you would
a
combine
company.
which solutions to make it namely? Like if I have Gusto, what else am I combining into that?
Yeah, so it would be we handle the entire employee lifecycle from onboarding to offboarding. So HRIS, which would be like a Zenefits or a Bamboo HR, Gusto, which is primarily payroll, but also has kind of HR aspects. Performance management for employee reviews is within namely, as well as benefits enrollment for employees to enroll in benefits. Connect carrier feeds on the administrative side and that kind of thing. So HR, payroll, benefits, performance management, all into a single system.
HR, payroll, benefits, and performance management. That's funny. We're yeah, cool. Performance management. Okay.
Yeah. So
What's the
we're
biggest pain point? Why do clients switch to you? One is that they have too many systems and they need to consolidate. Is there anything else?
yeah, totally. So one of our a big person in the space would be a company like ADP. So systems that have very not as up to date software and not as good of a user experience would kind of like older technology that doesn't kind of sync with different systems. And so whether it's trying to streamline all of your individual systems or get a system that has more better UI, better user experience, better technology that's consistently growing and innovating. That's typically
Okay, so
one of the
ADP is maybe a little bit hard to use for the users or for the admins or
yeah, depending on the different modules that you have of ADP, typically other payroll bureaus, that kind of thing. So we have streamlined systems, innovative software, and service is one of our kind of key components. So we have dedicated support consultants for all of our all of our clients, and we really try to have a white glove approach to our service rather than just calling into a 1-800 number in order to get your questions answered for software issues.
better software. Okay, cool. That sounds good.
Cool.
I think I know enough now. You can play the role of Tom being head of HR at ABC company. So
Awesome. Cool.
you should. I'll also get out of the screen so that I can I can pitch you and I won't see you. You won't see me.
Cool.
Cool. Ring ring.
Hey.
Hey Tom,
Who's calling?
Hey Tom, this is Tito. I'm with Namely. I was really hoping to speak with you briefly. Do you have 2 minutes?
I'm running into a meeting right now.
Ooh, that's fine. I can take 40 seconds, or should I call you in an hour or two?
Call me in an hour or two.
Okay, no problem. Have a good meeting.
All right. Click.
Hour and 15 minutes later. Ring ring.
Hello?
Hey Tom, it's Tito again. How did your meeting go?
It was fine. What is this about?
Thanks. Hey, I know you're busy. I'll keep it super brief, I promise. I'm with Namely, and I just know that your company is using Gusto for payroll, and I just wanted to understand a little bit better what you're doing for benefits and performance management and some of the other HR aspects, because we work with a lot of fast-growing companies like yourself, just consolidating everything and making it super easy to use. So yeah, just quick question: what are you doing for performance management and HR?
Yeah, totally. So performance right now is currently manual. And as far as HR, we're using benefits, but we're really not kind of evaluating any systems right now. Gus has been working well for us.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. So Zenefits on HR, Gusto on payroll, performance management, just manual. That's Excel sheets or like Word documents.
Yeah, it's kind of a a paper-based system that we're using right now.
Yeah, I hear a lot of clients saying that. That's really great. And your company's going fast, so you're like 50 employees going over to 60, 70 this year. What are you going to end up?
Yeah, we're growing. We'll probably be close to 100 in the next year or so.
Wow, that's incredible. Like, congrats. You must be so busy. I don't want to keep you longer on the phone, but here's what I want to tell you. I talk to so many companies. They're using various systems all over the place to run some part of their HR. What they realize at some point is that it's too big of a pain to manage 4, 5, 6 different systems and just do paper trail for performance management. Things need to get consolidated, and like, XYZ company just came over from your exact setup to Namely, and they love it. I'd love to like introduce you to the head of HR, just so you can learn from them and get a little bit of insight into how this works, and perhaps show you the platform. Usually at 60 employees, that's where this becomes like almost a must-have. Seems like if you're going to 100 in the next year, this is going to happen in 2 months. Should I call you back in another month and a half? Can we set up a 20-minute call to show you why this will simplify your life so much?
Yeah, I mean, completely understand what you're saying. We actually have, some other initiatives that are kind of competing with this right now. And so it really won't be on our radar until the end of this year.
Yeah, I understand. It's not always a perfect timing for this. I can call you later in the year. I know you'll lead the HR department. If you want to have a more junior person that is kind of like managing some of these systems, like your payroll and HR and performance management areas, and you want them to take a quick look, I'd be happy to show them, and then they can report back to you with some ideas. I don't know if that's something you'd be willing to do between now and maybe October, November, December, whenever we can have a call with you directly.
Yeah, sure. Just send me an email.
Okay, perfect. And who will I be speaking with? I'd love to send you some info for the
Yeah,
first demo.
it'll probably just be me.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, Tom. I'll go ahead and send you an email with some information. I'll send you a couple of times that we have in the calendar open, and we can be flexible for you. We're really customer centric. We want to help you out, and really look forward to speaking soon.
Cool. Awesome. Sounds great. Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
See you. All
Bye.
right, you too. Bye-bye.
Cool. How did that go? What was different about mine? Like you let me book you, which is cool. I must have done something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. So I liked how um, you kind of, I guess, more harped on the pain points and just really got in. You kind of led with oh, you guys are probably growing, 60 to 70 employees. What is that looking like? Rather than asking them, what does your growth look like? You kind of just led the question. Would that be accurate?
Right. So I think that was the question that you asked me. You're like, "Are you guys growing, right?" And of course we're growing, but the question is not, are you growing or not? Like, if we're growing from 50 to 52 next year, like, what am I going to say? No, we're actually firing a bunch of people. Like,
Yeah.
like nobody's going to ever tell you no, right?
Yeah.
But it feels, when you're on a prospect side, a little bit of a tricky question. Like, are you growing? Like, well,
Right.
we raised this Series A, we're 50 people. Like,
Right. Totally.
you know the answer, right? Well, if I
Yeah.
ask you, what's the growth looking like? Are you going to be 60, 70? And then I actually, this might have been not fully purposeful, but I said 60, 70, knowing that companies are growing between 30 and 100% per year. I go for the lower range, so that you're like, no, we're actually growing to 100. And like, super
Right.
proud. I'm like, oh my God. And then that just benefits me. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
going to 100. Great job. Like, if that's happening, tell me about HR, payroll, and performance management. How's that looking? And you're like, oh, I use paper, right? And I don't want to be like, oh, you're using paper. That sucks. Like, what a
Yeah.
shitty operation, right? Because then you're gonna be like,
Right.
fuck off, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to say is, hey, oh, you're going to 100. That's incredible. What people feel, right? Feel, felt, found. If you haven't learned feel, felt, found, and this is new,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy. But either way, for the audience that never felt feel, felt, found, I want to show you that I understand. Oh yeah, I just talking to another company that has the same setup, right? Somebody
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
you. They
Yeah. I like
moved
that.
over to Namely because they realized that it was non-scalable. to continue to operate in separate systems, which is the exact pain point you told me that you're going to solve. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I know this might not be the perfect time to look at it right now, but if you're going to 100, it's usually at around 60 or 70 that this becomes a huge problem. Seems like you're going to be there in 2 months. Does it make sense
Yeah.
to set up a time in 2 months? Right?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Because, and the reason I say this, and again, if you look at some of the other cold calling trainings, not you don't want to say this exact same thing for other products. You are actually working on what we call a replacement campaign. You have one type of product that's going to replace another type of product. There's an
Right.
expiration to their contract. You
Right.
want to do it somewhat as soon as possible so that you have a hook into the company and can help them define their requirements for their next software and things like that. But like if they're on a 10-year contract with their vendor, like you're screwed. Like you should just not book a meeting, right? Nobody signs 10-year contracts with HR providers or whatever.
Right.
But you get the point, right? And the other thing is, yeah, you're because it's a replacement campaign. You should also be happy to book a month out, and then reconfirm. Just call like 3 days before,
Right.
5 days before. Be like, hey Tito, by the way, giving you just a heads up, we have our call next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at your company growth. You've gone from 50 employees in May to now 72. Super
Right.
fast, incredible.
Right.
Congrats. I've seen you guys have raised this money. I've seen your team grow. I've seen this. I'll see you next Thursday, right? Dude, like if you've done all that company research for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
what am I gonna be like? Sorry, I gotta babysit a dog in the office.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're not
Right.
gonna
Right.
bail
Right.
on you. So
Totally.
hopefully that's insightful. Was I good?
No. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. That was great. That was really, really helpful. Absolutely.
Cool, awesome. You want to try it again? You want to try giving me a call again, and we can do
Yeah.
maybe one more. I'll take some notes about maybe a few other things. And for the audience and for everybody else listening to this, the way I try to coach my reps is I try to give them one or two things a week that they can improve, no more. Now with Tom, I won't have the opportunity to be coaching him every week because he's not an SDR in my company. Um, and therefore, like I just gave him maybe one or two things, right? Don't say perfect, say thank you. Um, and then you probably, if you go back, you can hear how I react when he's like, I'm super busy. I'm like, oh, I promise I'll keep it super, super brief, right? And things like that. Like I'm very professional and persistent. And then the other one is, the question. Just don't make it, are you growing? But maybe make it, what's your growth looking like? Are you going to 60 or 70 this year? And then that's gonna open them up and make them feeling proud, and give you the ammo that you need to then close the meeting and say what the pain point is. So those are the two takeaways. Maybe we find something else. We'll see, and hopefully you. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but hopefully you implement
Yeah.
this too.
Yeah. I
This
think
is
I got
hard
it.
to
I think I can do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Um,
Let's try it.
cool. Let's role play again. Um,
Cool. Ring
so,
ring.
hey, this is Tito.
Hey Tito, this is Tom again calling from Namely. Did I catch you with a couple seconds?
Yeah, I got some time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome. I just wanted to follow up on my previous call. I noticed you guys were using Gusto. Um, you know, see that you guys are growing, 50 to 60 over the next year or so. Just want to see, what your plans were for as you continue to scale over the next year or so.
In terms of what?
In terms of your HR, payroll, and benefits processes.
Oh yeah. We're super happy with Gusto, working super well. No plans to change actually. We signed a year deal in February, so yeah, we're super good. But I really appreciate the call.
Yeah, totally. I really just wanted to chat with you briefly because, um, you know, from our previous conversation that you guys were using Gusto and, that you told me that you guys were kind of growing pretty rapidly over the next year or so. From my experience, companies want to kind of streamline all of their systems into a single, streamlined platform in order to manage all of their employee data in one single space. I realize that now may not be the best time for your evaluation, but would it make sense for us to maybe sync up in 2 months or so to understand, how you plan to handle that growth, in the future?
Hmm. Okay, I'll cut it there. I don't want to run the call
Okay.
too long because there are a few things that I can help you there. And again,
Yeah,
like this
please.
is not just to like put you on the spot or criticize too much, but I think this
Right.
will. So
No, this
it
is
was
super
funny.
helpful.
It was funny because you took my advice, but but you did it in a weird way because you said thank you, I appreciate it. And then you said awesome. You said both thank
Yeah,
you
I think
and
it's
awesome, right? And
yeah,
it's because
I
it's
think
embedded in your brain. And I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's why I say it's so hard to change these things
Yeah,
after one
totally.
piece of advice. So again, the way to change your behavior if you're an SDR watching this is like literally pick one thing you're doing wrong, write it on a post-it note, and like put it on your computer,
Totally.
and just listen to every call recording that you have that you've called, and every time you say the word awesome after somebody's like yes I have 2 minutes, grab a jar and start throwing some dollars in there, right? I want five
Will do.
dollar
That's an
bills,
awesome jar. Yes. All right, all
right?
right.
Or something. As you see I have no dollar bills here, so hey I'm doing well. It's actually I use it for water, so I'm lying. The other thing, you said you said, I see you're growing from 50 to 70 or so. What are your plans looking like? And it didn't seem like the question
Yeah,
wasn't oriented enough, right? And
yeah, yeah.
you sense
Totally,
that.
totally.
So again, like some of this feedback, maybe Tom, like when I might just send you this recording, and then what you're gonna do is go back and see how do I ask that question, right? So I would say something, and it's funny when I'm on the spot, it comes to me more naturally because I've made, I think, a million phone calls, so
Right,
many.
right, right.
But you should be like, hey, I've seen your team growing fast. You guys have raised a round of funding recently. How's your team growth looking for the next year or so? Or how's your team uh, growing until December? Are you going to be at 60 or 70 or how's that growing? Right? And then they have no, oh no, we're going to be at over 100. Like we're doing like some super cool stuff, right?
Right.
Um, that's
Okay,
one.
okay.
And then one last piece of advice I'll give you is I said, oh, blah, blah, blah. We're super happy. And you said, from my experience. Right? So from my experience or what I have seen, and the reason why that psychologically triggers negatively is like, well, you're a sales rep. So yeah, from your experience, people like namely, and from the experience of John, people like whatever thing John is selling. So what you have to say is not from my experience, but hey, I just talked to ABC company and they were
Right,
in the exact same spot that you're at. And
right, 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 right.
and hopefully you have a list of companies that you shouldn't lie. You should never lie. We don't lie on
Of
cold
course.
calls. We never lie as
Yeah.
human beings, right? We won't, we, but what you should do is compile a list of like, go to your AE dashboard and see what are the last 10 companies we signed up and what are their sizes and what were they using before us. And then when somebody's like, we're using Zenefits, you're like, well, Disney was just using Zenefits and they moved over to
Right.
Namely, right?
Totally.
And then you can know three or four, or you can just look at your sheet or whatever. And then when they're using Zenefits, you can also ask your AE, why did they move? Like, what sucked the most about Zenefits? Oh,
Right.
well, their performance management, blah, 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 is still paper. Ah, so Disney just moved over to us because what they've realized is that running performance on paper and HR here and payroll in a different platform was too much and too complicated. So now they're doing
Right.
everything through us. And then they'd be like, okay, that's a company I know about. It's similar to us.
Right.
So cool.
Cool. No, I love it. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Awesome, man. No, yeah, my pleasure. So hopefully the audience enjoyed it too. We'll post this video and then maybe I'll review the recording and then add a couple of extra comments at the bottom. And if you want to sign up for cold calling training and you want to learn a couple of tips or tricks, you can be a complete newbie who's never cold called and somebody who's been cold calling for a little while and just is trying to find that extra edge. Hit me up in the comments. Follow me. Add me on LinkedIn. Whatever. And if you need a new HR platform, you should just let Tom pitch you. Just
Let me know. Let me know.
definitely
Awesome.
cool stuff. Thank you, everybody. It was
Cool.
a pleasure
Thank you,
doing
Cheeto.
this.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.